What's wrong?
Listen to me very, very carefully.
Look at that.
It's all gonna turn off.
What?
It's gonna turn off and it will never, ever turn back on.
What's gonna turn off? What are you talking about?
Everything. Everything is gonna turn off.
Ben, did I lose you?
No.
Miles.
Revelations is being faked, and they're planning a supernatural event in Israel to fool all of you. Christians, I need you to pay particular attention to this video because it's going to be most helpful to you. We'll get to how they're going to plan this supernatural event in Israel in just a minute, but first, hear me out. When it says earthquakes in diverse places, in wars and rumors of wars, it is a warning to watch out for the fake version of Revelation. When it says earthquakes in diverse places, what it's trying to tell you is there's going to be earthquakes in places that there shouldn't be, and it's going to happen all over the world. They knew that the servants of the evil one were going to manufacture earthquakes with machines. Secondly, wars and rumors of wars. Rumors of wars doesn't mean people making up stories that wars are going to happen. Rumors of wars are the psyops that they're doing right now on the media channels to make you think wars are happening when they don't. False flags, psyops, political theater. No one's caught this yet. That the earthquakes in diverse places and wars and rumors of wars was trying to tell us they were going to fake revelations, which is why they say when all those things happen, still my time is not near. They're trying to tell you they're going to fake revelations first to make you think it's happening at a certain time so they could trick you with a fake Messiah. So what does it tell you next? It tells you to look at the heavens. Keep your eyes on the stars, because it's the one thing they can't fake. Although they do try with the chemtrails, with the satellites, with their blue beam, but they can't quite get it right the way they get it right on the media. They can make anything happen in the media, but that's why the Bible tells you focus on the stars, because it is the perfect clock that can't be messed with. So how does this connect to what's happening in Israel right now? They're about to plan a supernatural event, which will also be faked. And when that supernatural event happens, many Christians and other peoples will be fooled. And at that moment, they will introduce the Antichrist, which will be made to look like the Mashiach, the Messiah. They will fool many people into believing in the Antichrist. But their Messiah is our Antichrist. Really important. And who's the last person you'd expect to be the Antichrist? Because that's exactly how it's going to happen. Whoever the Antichrist is the person you least expect, which means it could fool the most people. The least person you'd expect to be the Antichrist is the Christ. So they're going to fool you with an image of Christ, a false idol. So the supernatural event is going to be done because the US and other countries have been developing super crazy secret technology. Now, we all thought they were doing that just because they wanted to, get ahead of other nations, get ahead of their opponents in the world, and just keep many things secret, right? That's not why. They've been building all this technology to go to war with you, with your consciousness, to win the war for the human soul. When did this start? The 1940s, because Germany was into the occult, and they started communicating with demons. They didn't realize what these things were. They thought the demons were trying to help them do good. But in fact, they were actually tricking them into doing evil. You feel the storm coming? That's because Yahweh's mad. But don't worry, he's mortally wounded. So they're going to fake this supernatural event with all of their advanced technology. What's going to happen is you're going to see everyone surround Israel, just like in the prophecy, and there's going to be like no hope for them. Everyone's going to turn on them, and all of a sudden some incredible supernatural things are going to happen, which just means they're going to take out their most advanced jets. They're going to use Project Bluebeam. They've been tricking you into thinking that they're making an alien invasion. That's what I figured out. We thought it was going to be a tricked alien invasion. It's not. That was the cover. What they're really faking is the Messiah, okay? They're going to use all sorts of technologies you can't even imagine, so that when it comes out, you won't think it's the governments. You won't think it's our technology. You'll think it's actual supernatural events. They've been testing this forever, especially in South America, where you've seen the apparitions show up in the sky of like angels and stuff, because they've been practicing it to see how well it'll work. So like I said, it all started when the Nazis were communicating with these demons. They opened up channels of communication. The gray aliens are demons. The gray aliens are servants of Yahweh. Okay, they're the Majiji in the Sumerian creation. The Archons, they're basically the game controllers here, okay? And they are the epitome of colonization, the colonizing of human beings, right? Because they take you against your will, they have advanced technology, and they're completely apathetic to your existence, to your suffering, to your happiness. They can care less, they're just doing their job. The spirit of that demonic possession is what possessed all the colonizers around the world to enslave people. So where does it get really crazy? When we pick up all those Nazi scientists in Operation Paperclip, and they start doing weird stuff in the deserts of the Southwest. Why in the deserts of the Southwest? Because there's many portals. The desert of the Southwest is Jerusalem. It is the spiritual center of the world, and it opens up to other dimensions. They made these dimensional portals much bigger by testing nuclear weapons out there. And then all of a sudden what happened? Tons of UFO sightings. Some of those are created by human beings. Others are just spiritual demonic aberrations. And they all start getting really crazy in the Southwest. Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard and Aleister Crowley We're doing the most crazy, most powerful summoning rituals in history in the deserts of the Southwest to open up these portals. Jack Parsons led the opening, and then Jack Parsons had an unfortunate accident with rockets and passed away and couldn't close the portals. So now they're wide open. Not only is Jerusalem, the real Jerusalem, which is in the American Southwest, the most holy place, it has also been rife with possession, demonic entities entering in and out. This is a war for your soul. This is a war for what we will become in the future. Okay? All of this stuff is built to trick you, the billions of people. That's where all the most power is. That's what all these governments have been saving up for and building up their technology, not to go to war with each other. They're in league with each other. This thing that's happening in the Middle East is faked by all countries. They're trying to trick you because they're all possessed by these things that want to win over your soul. The real revelations is happening not on the television. The revolution will not be televised. The real revelations is happening all around you. God is everywhere. The kingdom of heaven is within. The true Hebrew Israelites are the indigenous people of the planet. You need to understand everything I'm telling you right now and understand that it is all true. It is all real. Pay attention to the signs in the heavens.
New York City is known for the bright lights of Times Square, but 20 years ago, a major power outage changed that.
50 million people across the Northeast were in darkness, with the city largely at a standstill. Here's some of our coverage from August of 2003.
We're not quite sure what's going on. We're going to try to stay calm.
Many of the intersections, the traffic lights are completely out. Thousands of people leaving the city.
When have you ever seen a skyline shot of Manhattan that looked like this?
There's not much going on here. In terms of electricity, City Hall is still powered by a generator.
People stuck, people stranded.
We went ahead and got married. The lights went out in the church. We're just going to try and make the most of it.
The American Red Cross is here at the emergency shelter with extra supplies.
It's cool out here. Much cooler than in the buildings because there's no air.
There was no damage done to our system, and during the day it should all be coming back on.
This is New York. Nothing stops us.
Many familiar faces we have there. Quite a day.
Yeah, it was.
CBS 2's Haley Ott looks back on that day when millions of people lost the power and talks with one energy expert who says it could happen again.
20 years ago, about 50 million people lost power in the Northeast, and many had the same thought.
I'm getting a flashback from September 11th. I don't like this.
The disruptive event on the heels of 9/11 wasn't terrorism, but a massive power outage that stretched from New Jersey to Ontario, Massachusetts to Michigan. The culprit? Tree branches hitting a power line, and a software glitch at an energy company in Akron, Ohio.
What happened when all the lights went out?
Well, it was an exciting first few hours, that's for sure.
New Yorker Anka Davis was here during the 2003 blackout. He says his neighborhood really bonded that day.
People were totally happy to be out on the street. You know, they had their candles set up. Everybody knew there was no power in the house. There's no reason to be in the house.
But it was more stressful for others on that hot, muggy August evening. Some trapped for hours in subways underground. Others forced to walk miles home, crossing New York's iconic bridges on foot. Health experts blame the blackout for about 90 deaths.
The grid has fragility in it.
Energy expert Paul Hines says modern technology and renewable energy can help reduce the risk of major blackouts.
If we set the system up right, those advanced power electronics can actually help us to manage the grid more reliably.
The energy got so much less I guess, wild and this, how New York always is.
Davis remembers it as a day with good energy, even without any electricity. Haley Ott, CBS News, New York.
We are in the midst of what appears to be a colossal and history-making blackout.
People trapped in elevators and buildings. They have activated the emergency command center.
You're staggering, trying to take in as much information as you can.
Mayor Bloomberg's advice is to go straight home.
The subway system is down.
Ottawa is completely without power now.
The lightning-quick domino series of failures.
Gotta go to the bathroom and you can't even go nowhere.
50 million people are thought to have lost power.
In 2003, a massive blackout struck major areas of the U.S. and Canada and was perceived as a wake-up call for the nation.
We've got a real crisis in our grid, and this is why
despite being a superpower, we have a grid that is comparable to a third world country, and that's not right.
But have 10 years of planning and preparation left us better off today?
I don't think you can ever say with 100% confidence we won't have a blackout.
April 16, 2013, a Silicon Valley electrical substation came under rifle fire in a coordinated and well-planned attack, causing millions in damages and nearly taking out power to Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and Intel. In the 10 years since that attack, no culprit has been found. Now, a new wave is targeting America's electrical grid. 2 North Carolina substations were shot at, knocking out power to 40,000 homes and businesses. Then on Christmas Day, 4 substations were vandalized in Washington state. While authorities search for suspects, what they really need are answers.
Now, when these things were built, there wasn't much thought given to security, so most of them look about like this one, a rusty old gate and a chain link fence, safeguarding millions of dollars worth of equipment just inside there, like those ultra high voltage transformers over there, which are all custom built. And that's causing the authorities to start to see this as a real threat to our national security.
Well, if you had power issues overnight, you had plenty of company. A problem that started in Brooklyn triggered effects across the city and even Long Island and Westchester. CBS News' John Diaz joins us live from the Con Ed substation where the trouble began. John.
Yeah, well, Sydney, good morning to you. Let me tell you, this was a very brief power outage, that's for sure. The president of Con Edison saying it really only lasted fractions of a second, he says. But this was a problematic one, and that is because it really impacted every single home across all of New York City, all 5 boroughs. Let's go right here to this video, though. Take a look here. Chopper 2 flying above earlier this morning, giving you an aerial view of this substation here, the Farragut Electrical Substation in downtown Brooklyn, where all this happened. But earlier this morning, you can see in this video as smoke billowed from this substation just after midnight last night. After this momentary power outage, users across multiple social media platforms started to post similar videos of their lights either flickering or, some even reporting internet outages. Many saying that they thought they heard a rumble when the power flickered. We have also learned that this caused issues to elevators citywide, including Grand Central and Penn Station, where elevators were stuck for, listen to this, around 3 hours. And there were multiple reports of people having to be rescued from stuck elevators. The president of Con Edison saying that he heard up to 10 people having to be rescued. For example, we are also hearing about a security guard who was trapped inside an elevator inside the Wegmans grocery store here in Brooklyn. Video shows members of the FDNY getting him out. One witness thinks that he was stuck in there for about an hour. Take a listen to, though, what the president of Con Edison had to say about all this.
Probably most of New York City saw this. A piece of high voltage electrical equipment failed in the substation. Basically, it short-circuited. That caused a large flash. These are pretty infrequent events. We have multiple redundant sets of transformers so that the lights stay on. If you have one of these, we actually have one of the most reliable electric systems in the United States. These are pretty rare occurrences, but they do happen every once in a while.
Overnight and confirmed here by the president of Con Edison. They're saying that this was a fault on a high-tension transmission line. They said the customers citywide, may have experienced either a dip or surge in power at that time. But their crews are investigating and working to make necessary repairs. Again, we still do not know exactly what caused all this, but the president's saying that likely there really won't be any more issues as we head on into this day. But hopefully they get to the bottom of this sooner rather than later. For now, though, we are live this morning from downtown Brooklyn. John Diaz, CBS 2 News.
John, thank you.
Major cellular outage is being reported nationwide. The tracking website downdetector.com is reporting more than 32,000 outages for AT&T customers. We're also hearing reports of customers with AT&T are struggling to call 911, and that is a problem.
That's not good. All right, more than 800 outages also reported for Verizon and T-Mobile users. It's unclear what caused this outage. There has been no word yet from any of these major cellular networks. Did you have a problem this morning, Pete?
States could be a nationwide shutdown, and this is going to be unfolding due to cyber attacks against infrastructure systems in the U.S. coming from China.
Gee,
It's not even March of 2024, and we already have alien and other interdimensional being sightings. We have Mother Nature rearing her beautiful freaking face, flooding most coastal areas. We already have Season 2 of Lahaina Maui's wildfires in Chile. And now we have potential widespread grid blackouts and cyber attacks coming in from China. Do you know how much money the CCP would lose out on by shutting down our grid? Or to US citizens? It's not China. Our government is the largest fear-mongering, gaslighting business there is. This isn't about a terrorist cyber attack grid blackout. They've been talking about doing this for decades. If this happens, this is your own corrupt government doing this. Did you know in 2011 the US government conducted a tabletop exercise to gauge the public's response to a grid blackout? It's called Secure Grid 11. It's the third of an ongoing series of exercises the National Defense University Institutes for National Strategic Studies, or INSS, conducted in conjunction with the Department of Homeland Security and U.S. Northern Command on the vulnerability of the North American electric grid. Previous exercises examined the ability of public and private institutions to work together to prevent and mitigate cyber and physical attacks on the grid. And this is one of countless tabletop exercises our government's been involved in when it comes to grid blackouts. And how freaking convenient that they're doing this during an election year.
Prayed about and planned for the end of the world. Jews are waiting for the Messiah. Christians say it could be the second coming of Christ. In 2016, Hillary said Trump was going to trigger the apocalypse. Look around, she actually might have been right. But billionaires are dropping serious lettuce on ritzy doomsday dens across the globe. Zuckerberg just dropped a $250 million for a bunker in Hawaii. His contractors say they're making a 5,000 square foot underground shelter with an escape hatch. Zuck wants it to be completely self-sufficient with a water filtration system and livestock as a food source. Come here, you goat. But it's not just him. It seems paranoia is seeping through Silicon Valley. Peter Thiel from PayPal and AI developer Sam Altman are also preparing for the worst. So is this a keeping up with the Joneses situation, or do they know something we don't? Or are they worried we're going to go grab the pitchforks and storm the castle?
The rich are about to get a taste of their own medicine, and they created all of this mess going on with the economy. They think they can buy their way out of everything. Good luck hiding from the angry mass of people that's about to explode.
Hollywood's making a fortune off apocalypse movies. Even the Obamas got in on the action with their race-baiting flick, Leave the World Behind. In it, a power grid hack unravels society. It's a mess. I think they have a compound at the Vineyard. 40% of young Americans are already investing in their doomsday prep. They're panic buying doomsday bunkers, and contractors are just raking it in.
We can never predict or control what will happen in the world. Oppidum creates underground living spaces that are highly secure and completely discreet, designed and constructed to withstand ballistic, environmental, and civil threats. This is security.
Gary Lynch builds bunkers for billionaires, and he's here. All right, Gary, do they tell you why they're building bunkers when they build them?
Most of the time they do. It's just like everyone else. They look at what's going on in the world around them, and just because you have billions of dollars doesn't mean you're not connected to what's really happening. And a lot of times maybe you're more connected. But they're just looking for safety and security for their family and their loved ones.
Are they worried about, like that woman was saying, people storming the castle?
I mean, I guess in a sense, yes. Because look at the looting that was just on a few minutes ago. The smash and grabs. That's going to be a reality when there's no food in the grocery stores. Where are they going to go? They're going to go to other people's cupboards.
Do you think when they build these things that they think they're ever going to need them, or is this just some vanity play?
I think it's like an insurance policy. I believe that some of them know that someday they'll need it, and some of them are buying it just as insurance.
When you build these, what's the must-have with the Billionaire bunker that everyone needs to have this one thing?
Typically theaters for personal entertainment. Libraries are really common. With the Billionaire bunkers, you don't see much self-sustaining type things like no hydroponics or gardens, things like that. It's more about storage and comfort. Bowling alley, swimming pools, saunas, shooting ranges. Really just anything you can imagine.
What's the wackiest thing they ever asked you to build for their bunker?
Put a horse underground.
For what reason?
The horse was incredibly valuable, and he said if he had to be underground, he wants to take that with him.
All right. I hope it's not for food, because that's not very nice. Well, listen, if things go well at Jesse Waters Primetime, maybe I'll be giving you a call one day.
We'll be glad to help you, Jesse.
All right, thanks. I don't want a horse. All right, maybe a shooting range, no horse.
Whatever you want.
All right, thank you so much.
How many have seen The Last of Us in the zombie apocalypse? I mean, that's the first thing that comes to mind. I mean, it's at first, and second of all, Hawaii is obviously an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. If there's something that really goes south, how long can you last without supplies?
That's where it takes me. During the coronavirus pandemic lockdowns, people lost their minds.
Yeah.
After being at home for 6 months, and we still could go to the grocery store.
You could argue that people still lost their minds.
Right.
There's a hangover there.
And we still had the outside. We weren't literally in our homes without fresh air. So to me, I wonder how practical these truly are. And I get it. When you've got a lot of money, you can just say, well, it might not be practical, but we'll do it just in
but I mean,
case.
the question is, what do they know that we don't know, right? I mean, they're building these underground Is this just a natural human nature towards thinking that these are the end times, our times are the end times?
Call me cynical, but I think there's the only fear being played here by billionaires is FOMO, the fear of missing out. Like that billionaire has a new toy.
Yeah, my neighbor had a flat screen TV I had.
Right, it's like keeping up with the Joneses kind of
Maybe,
mentality.
but the money piece is a powerful piece. And they want to live forever. And none of us are going to live forever.
Yeah.
And if you've got too much money, then you can go build
you should
a
put in cryogenics. And,
that
exactly.
They probably already got that.
All right, Steve, I want your take real quick before we leave you.
When you have that much money, when you're a billionaire, you either go up to space, you go find somewhere else to live, or you go down. You go bury underneath, you get your bunker. You got options, but it's not happening here on Earth.
Right, so extraterrestrial, terrestrial, subterrestrial. Those are your choices if you got enough money, right? All right, Steve Krakauer, thank you very much.
No one knows exactly what the future has in store. But one startup company says avoiding threats from any potential natural disasters, viruses, and wars doesn't have to come at the expense of your comfort. This is an oppidum, a type of luxury doomsday bunker that could soon be underneath the mansions of some of the world's richest people.
Oppidum creates underground living spaces that are highly secure and completely discreet, yet beautifully appointed and entirely bespoke.
Oppidum is the Latin term for fortified settlement, and that's exactly what this is and much more. Company officials say each bunker is air and gas tight, allowing those inside to be completely cut off from the atmosphere outside for up to a month. The shelters are also armed with the technology to make their own water, air, and energy, while coming with the chicest amenities.
Whatever is happening in the world outside, you can rest easy and live fully in times of tranquility and in times of unrest.
But these bunkers aren't just meant to keep people safe.
From converted Cold War bunkers and missile silos to specially outfitted yachts, a doomsday industry caters to the mega-rich. Luxury bunkers with indoor pools, artificial sunlight, and supplies to stay sealed off from the world for years.
The billionaires, they understand that they're playing a dangerous game, that they are running out of room to externalize the damage of the way their companies operate. Eventually, there's going to be, the social unrest that leads to your undoing, which is why these same people are looking at creating bomb shelters. The most powerful people in the world, they see themselves as utterly incapable of actually creating a future in which everything's going to be okay.
Padre Pio wrote a personal letter to the Heraldsback Commission named by the Vatican. In the letter, Padre Pio proves the truth and reality of the revelations he received from our Lord. He described his spiritual life, the grace he received from God, including the gift of stigmata. Pay attention to this letter. My son, I've been longing for this hour in which I again shall reveal to you the great love of my heart. Pray and make reparation to me. Admonish others to do the same, because the time is near at hand in which I shall visit my unfaithful people, because they have not heeded the time of my grace. Persevere in prayer, so that your adversary shall have no dominion over you. Tell my people to be prepared at all times, for my judgment shall come upon them suddenly, and when least expected, and not one shall escape my hands. He shall find them all. I shall protect the just. Watch the sun and moon and the stars of the heaven. When they appear to be unduly disturbed and restless, know that the day is not far away. Stay united in prayer and watching until the angel of destruction has passed your doors. Pray that these days will be shortened. Lord, pray. Make reparation. Be fervent and practice mortifications. Great things are at stake. Pray. Men are running toward the abyss of hell in great rejoicing and merrymaking, as though they were going to a masquerade ball or the wedding feast of the devil himself. Assist me in the salvation of souls. The measure of sin is filled. The day of revenge, with its terrifying happenings, is near. Nearer than you can imagine. And the world is sleeping in false security. The divine judgment shall strike them like a thunderbolt. These godless and wicked people shall be destroyed without mercy, as were the inhabitants of Sodom and Gomorrah of old. Yes, I tell you, their wickedness was not as great as that of our human race today. Keep your windows well covered. Do not look out. Light a blessed candle, which will suffice for many days. Pray the rosary. Read spiritual books. Make acts of spiritual communion, also acts of love, which are so pleasing. Pray with outstretched arms, or prostrate on the ground, in order that many souls may be saved. Do not go outside the house. Provide yourself with sufficient food. The powers of nature shall be moved, and a rain of fire shall make people tremble with fear. Have courage. I am in the midst of you. Take care of the animals during these days. I am the creator and preserver of animals as well as man. I shall give you a few signs beforehand, at which time you should place more food before. I will preserve the property of the elect, including the animals, for they shall be in need of sustenance afterwards as well. Let no one go across the yard, even to feed the animals. He who steps outside will perish. Cover your windows carefully. My elect shall not see my wrath. Have confidence in me, and I will be your protection. Hurricanes of fire will pour from the clouds and spread over the entire earth. Storms, bad weather, thunderbolts and earthquakes will cover the earth for 2 days. An uninterrupted rain of fire will take place. It will begin on a very cold night. All this is to prove that God is the master of creation. Those who hope in me and believe in my words have nothing to fear, because I will not forsake them, nor those who spread my message. No harm will come to those who are in the state of grace and who seek my mother's protection. That you may be prepared for these visitations, I will give you the following signs and instruction. The night will be very cold. The wind will roar. After a time, thunderbolt will be heard. Lock all the doors and windows. Talk to no one outside the house. Kneel down before a crucifix. Be sorry for your sins and beg my mother's protection. Do not look during the earthquake, because the anger of God is holy. Jesus doesn't want us to behold the anger of God, because God's anger must be contemplated with fear and trembling. Those who disregard this advice will be killed instantly. The wind will carry with it poisonous gases which will be diffused over the entire earth. Those who suffer and die innocently will be martyrs, and they will be with me in my kingdom. Satan will triumph, but in 3 nights the earthquake and fire will cease. On the following day the sun will shine again. Angels will descend from heaven and will spread the spirit of peace over the earth. A feeling of immeasurable gratitude will take possession of those who survive this most terrible ordeal. The impending punishment with which God will visit the earth since creation. How unconcerned men are regarding these things, which shall so soon come upon them, contrary to all expectations. How indifferent they are in preparing themselves for these unheard of events, through which they will have to pass so shortly. The weight of divine balance has reached the earth. The wrath of my Father shall be poured out over the entire world. I am again warning the world through your instrumentality, as I have so often done heretofore. On that day, as soon as complete darkness has set in, no one shall leave the house or look from out of the window. The darkness shall last a day, and a night followed by another day and night, and another day. But on the night following, the stars will shine again, and on the next morning the sun shall rise again, and it will be springtime. In the days of darkness my elect shall not sleep, as did the disciples in the garden. They shall pray incessantly, and they shall not be disappointed in me. I shall gather my elect. Hell will believe itself to be in possession of the entire earth, but I shall reclaim it. Again and again I have warned men, and often have I given them special opportunities to return to the right path. But now wickedness has reached its climax, and the punishment can no longer be delayed, till the time has come in which these things shall be fulfilled. These signals were passed down to Padre Pio by our Lord Jesus Christ. And you should know that Padre Pio was not the only one who received this revelation. The prophecy has its roots in Mary Pan, who was a holy and mystical figure throughout the ages, including Mary Tyger, St. Faustina of Kowalska, and of Catherine of Emmerich and John of Bosco. Great pressures cannot be explained better than this. What do we do now?
Climate scientists are warning about the potential resurgence of so-called zombie viruses, or viruses that can come back from the dead. They say warmer conditions are causing part of the Arctic's permafrost to thaw. To thaw significantly, they say some viruses that have been lying dormant for tens of thousands of years could reemerge and possibly endanger animals and humans. Scientists say the permafrost acts like a time capsule for viruses and the mummified remains of long-gone animals. NASA wants to see climate concerns addressed. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, and I've been waiting for this moment for all my life.
sunshine when he's gone. It's not warm when he's away. Ain't no sunshine when he's gone, and he's always gone too long. Anytime he goes away, wonder this time when he's gone. Wonder if he's gone to stay. Ain't no sunshine when he's gone, and he's always gone too long. Anytime he goes away.
I get up in